Hello friends! So this is the exact same setup as my monthly wrap up because I don't feel like changing and I don't feel like moving around. So today we're going to talk about my first quarter Romanceopoly updates. I think basically I'm just going to show you my tracker and like how far I am on the sun board and how far I am on the moon board, and then just list out what I've read so far and my ratings for them. My plan right now is to do quarterly updates, so this is January, February, March, obviously, and this is what my sun board tracker looks like. There are 10 spaces completed on the sun board. So first I used a library space for Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. I gave that one 5 stars. For the bar space, I used Unforgiven by Jay Crownover. I gave that one 4 stars. Oh, Love Her or Lose Her I read in January. Unforgiven I read in February. For the winter space, I used Trouble by Adriana Locke. I gave that one 4 stars and read it in February. For the post office space, I used Parental Guidance by Avery Flynn. I gave that one 4 stars and read it in March. For Faded Folly, I used Lover Revealed by J.R. Ward. I gave that one 5 stars and read it in February. For Drive-In Movie, I used The Hunter by Kerrigan Byrne. I gave that one 5 stars and read it in March. For the Farmer's Market space, I used Racked and Stacked by Lorelei James. I gave that one 3 stars and I read it in February. For the Journey's End space, I used White Hot by Alona Andrews. I gave that one 4 stars and I read it in March. For emergency services, I used Moonlight Sins by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I gave that one 3 stars and read it in February. And the last space that I have completed is The Office, which I used The Governess Game by Tessa Dare. I gave that one 4 stars and read it in January. So this is my moon board tracker. I have 16 spaces completed for the moon board. First off is a library space, which I used Gypsy King by Devney Perry. I gave that one 5 stars and I read it in January. For Killer Crescent, I used Till Death by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I gave that one 3 stars and I read it in February. For the bar, I used The Summer Games Out of Bounds by R.S. Gray. I gave that one 3 stars and read it in March. For the winter space, I used Great and Precious Things by Rebecca Yarros. I gave that one 5 stars and I read it in February. For BFF's house, I used A Piece of My Heart by Tegan Hunter. I gave that one 3 stars and read it in February. For Moore Avenue, I used The Ones Who Got Away by Ronnie Lauren. I gave that one 5 stars and read it in January. For Passion Place, I used Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert. I gave that one 5 stars and I read it in March. For Fang Avenue, I used Lover Awakened by J.R. Ward. I gave that one 5 stars and I read it in February. Next was a library space and I used Wild at Heart by K.A. Tucker. I gave that one 4 stars and I read it in February. For Drive-In Movie, I used The Right Swipe by Alicia Rye. Didn't write down my rating. I think I gave that one 4 stars and I read it in February. For Soldier Street, I used Midnight Games by Elle Kennedy. I gave that one 5 stars and I read it in January. Farmer's Market, I used Timid by Devney Perry. I gave that one 4 stars and I read it in March. For Rainbow Row, I used Someday Someday by Emma Scott. I gave that one 4 stars and I read it in January. For The Gym, I used I Bet You by Ilsa Madden Mills. I gave that one 4 stars and I read it in January. And also for Campus Corner, I used I Dare You by Ilsa Madden Mills. I gave that one 4 stars and read it in January. And the last space that I have completed so far is another library space. And I used Behind the Bars by Brittany C. Cherry. I gave that one 5 stars and I read it in March. So that is my quarter 1 Romanceopoly update. I think I'm doing pretty well. Obviously, I'm doing better on the moon board than I am the sun board, but still not going to pick one. If you are participating in Romanceopoly, which board did you pick and how are you doing on it? Let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!